Caution. Entertainment Banter uses language that might be inappropriate for some listeners, and as always, no smoking is allowed during the pod.
Welcome back to Entertainment Banter. My name is the one and only Joel, and I'm super stoked.
Matt.
And I'm super stoked.
He's super stoked today. Why are you stoked?
Because of what we're going to talk about. It's been episodes since we've talked about one of our favorite shows.
Yes, I know.
Want to say it?
You can. I'm not going to rob you of this one. This is all you.
Dragon Ball Z.
For those of you that don't speak Joel or Japanese, that's Dragon Ball Super.
Well,
what about Super in particular?
That's the question now. Like, the whole thing was Dragon Ball Z was the mainstay. You watch DBZ,
right.
You know, no one. If you said Dragon Ball, no one really understood what you meant by that. You know, you watched Dragon Ball, but DBZ was the mainstay. But now it's DBS, right?
Right. Yes.
So now you have to say we watch DBS, right? I guess, or is
I
DBZ still?
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah, DBZ is DBZ, but I call this
Dragon Ball Super.
And
no one talked about GT.
No. But we wanted to talk something about specifically about the Broly movie for Dragon Ball Super.
The new Broly movie. It was released in theaters, select theaters.
Theaters.
Matt could not see it because Matt
not this round.
Lives around deer and maybe a couple bears. But I got to see it in theaters. But Matt saw it recently, as in
I did
hours ago, maybe minutes ago.
Fresh in my mind.
He watched Dragon Ball Super. But now we got to keep in mind, Matt did not. How far along in the series are you right now?
I don't want to say.
Dragon Ball Super has ended.
I'm way behind
for the time
but
being.
There was definitely some spoilers in there, that I was like, what?
Were there?
And oh yeah.
We got to go over that first.
I said that's my fault. That's my fault.
We got to go over those first then. We have to.
I don't want to talk too much about them because I still would like to watch the series.
I just want to know what they were so I know to avoid it.
It's hard because it was the biggest one was them wishing Frieza back to help them in some battle. Like, I didn't know that was a thing. So that was a big one. Big drop. Vegeta having a daughter. That was a drop. I didn't see that one coming.
Really?
So, oh yeah.
She's in Dragon Ball GT.
Well, but we up until this point we didn't know how much or how little of GT was.
But she was in the end
of
Dragon Ball Z as well. Brah.
Was she?
Mm-hmm.
In Z after Boo?
Absolutely.
I gotta go back and watch those. I don't remember that.
You should go back and
after Boo. I don't remember that. I'll have to go back. There's a couple of things I was questioning as I was watching it, and then for continuity purposes, especially with the Bardock movie, it was interesting. Well, let's just get right to it, I guess.
Let's just jump right in. This is Dragon Ball Super.
All right, so the Broly movie comes out, right? And I'll be honest with you, there was 3 Broly movies in the past, and I wasn't a big fan of those movies. I never really cared for the Broly character.
Me neither.
And but this movie, it says Broly in the title, and I'm ready to watch Broly, but that's not how it starts. It starts with Planet Vegeta. It starts with the whole cool scene where Frieza wants to destroy the Saiyans.
You get a little history. I think it's kind of neat.
You get some Bardock action going on in there, and you even get Radix as a little kid, and which was interesting too because they didn't. Is Radix 100% pure blood Goku brother?
Yeah.
They never mentioned it. The parents in this movie never mentioned him.
They mentioned Raditz. Yeah. You gotta see
Raditz
you gotta see Kid
Raditz mentioned them. They didn't mention him.
I believe
That's
they
why
did.
It was interesting. They were acting like Goku was like the only one.
No, they mentioned Raditz was off with Vegeta. I remember that distinctively.
Well, somebody said it, but I don't think it was his parents.
It was kind of neat to see that there's female Saiyans and all that. I really liked that. And you
gotta
see their
that was
culture
there before too, I believe.
It was, but you gotta see more realism on it.
Yes. Yeah.
Now in the original movies, you were you gonna say something? Am I cutting you off?
Well, I was trying to figure out. I'm going to need your help because you'll probably remember it better than I will. But the Bardock movie, the Bardock movie in particular, the kids were younger when they were sent off in their pods. That was something they changed.
Well, no, so from the original, Bardock Special is no longer. I think it's canon now. I think that's
but they kind of honored it a little bit, right? Because
I
was
think the
trying
Broly
to,
movies with the timeline. I think the Broly movies, like they're going to make a series off there, just like how they made the other movies. They're going to make this
right.
part of it. I think.
Well, I'm taking this Broly movie as the first time we see Broly.
Yes, me too.
Period. So the 3 Broly movies from the past are canon. How I feel like they were still trying to honor the Bardock one a little bit.
I think they're trying to make it work more in their favor. But when they first originally did the Broly show or series or the 3 movies, they had Broly and Goku being the same age, and Vegeta. They're all 3 about the same age, I thought.
Right.
No, I think Vegeta was still older. I think Vegeta is older. But
Well,
in this one,
he was.
Broly,
Goku was a little kid.
But this one, they made Broly the same age as Vegeta, didn't they?
Yes. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes. Yeah, I was getting confused with Goku because because I would think Goku would remember his parents a little bit more because they, like I said in this movie, they made him look older. He looked like he was in Dragon Ball as opposed to a little baby.
Right, and they also they changed the whole fact of why Broly hates Goku and Vegeta. The reason why he hated Goku from the original movies was that Goku never let him sleep as a child. All Goku did was cry, cry, cry.
Right, it was some lame thing,
some stupid thing. But why does Broly hate Goku and Vegeta now?
I don't think it was necessarily a hate thing. The way they made it sound, and there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the character of Broly. I find him very frustrating to understand because, as a writer standpoint, it kind of goes all over the place.
Right.
Like there's no continuity. So I'll answer your question first, though. My understanding is it's not that he hated Goku or Vegeta, it's that his father hated Vegeta's family, right? And so his father raised him to be a warrior with the one thing in mind to eventually take revenge on Vegeta's family. Goku happens to be in the sidelines of that, so he gets involved, but he actually goes after Vegeta first. The second thing is, I think more importantly, is it's not that he himself necessarily wants to be a fighter, at least that's how they made it sound in this movie, but it was more that he was being forced to be a fighter. And so, if Daddy says go fight that guy, you go fight that guy. And then the problem with that scenario is, this is where the Brody character comes into, not Brody, Broly character comes into play, is the fact that he loses control. And when he loses control, it's no longer about revenge or fight this because Daddy says. He's just literally out of control.
Well, because he's the legendary Super Saiyan.
Yes and no.
So they say.
So let's talk about this because that's what the original 3 movies were trying to imply.
Right.
But the thing is, the legendary Super Saiyan was the fact that the Saiyans go super, right? That's really what it boils down to. Because you take it back to the first
because
real story
legendary
arc with,
Super Saiyan
with Frieza.
Well, yeah, and they talk about how the legendary Super Saiyan got all this power and he couldn't control it. That's the whole point of Broly. He's the legendary Super Saiyan, one every 10,000 years. He can't control his power. When he goes crazy, he can't control it. It's uncontrollable power. And he watched him as he fought Vegeta. Vegeta kept testing him and keep pushing him further because they always start some low power.
Right.
He kept pushing harder and harder and harder, and Broly kept matching it.
Well, that's a perfect segue. So that's the thing that I don't want to talk the whole time about because there's so many other elements to the movie that I actually do want to talk about that we rarely talk about when we talk about movies. But for the sake of argument, let's talk Broly for a second and his powers, because I think the problem I personally have always had with the character of Broly is the fact that he negates everything that the series stands for. And what I mean by that is, Goku and Vegeta, how many times do we see them train, get better, power up, level up, and become more and more and more powerful? We see them going up against gods and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. And then here comes this guy, and he immediately just matches them or is equal to them almost. Like, they have to go full power all the way. You see, like you said, you see them go through their stages, but in like 5 minutes, they're at their full strength and they're getting their butts kicked.
And then they fuse.
Yeah. Yeah, but my point is, like, meanwhile, Broly's just getting more and more angry. But that's, you know what I mean? Like, to me, the Broly character cheapens all the hard work that the Saiyans, Vegeta,
That's
and
the whole point.
Goku
That's the whole
do.
point. You're watching this adventure of Goku and Vegeta pretty much now, trying to best each other, trying to be the
Right.
strongest in the world, and this guy comes out of nowhere with no real training, just natural born ability.
Right, but you know how like Goku screws around and doesn't necessarily power up because he just wants to see how far he can go before he needs to.
He doesn't want to defeat you with his full power. He wants to see where.
Right, and he likes to see how far he can go with his regular power, whatever you want to call it. The problem I have is, like, Broly's power, he doesn't ascend per se. And, you know, he stays consistent while they're ascending. And they made the parallel of, like, well, this is what it would be like if you went full ape or whatever. But, like, you know, this is full ape power, but as a normal being. So, like,
Sure.
isn't that like Kaido Ken stuff? You know what I mean? Like, that's Goku not powering up to Super Saiyan, but he's getting stronger. I mean, it's hard. Like, where does so you're saying the ape power is more powerful than Super Saiyan God? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't make much sense to me.
It's because he's the legendary Super Saiyan.
That's
That's
so you're
what-
just gonna go with that. The
I'm
quick
just gonna
write-out.
write it out.
You're just
The
gonna write
legendary
it. That's
Super
terrible
Saiyan.
writing. And at the last second, they were saved by this.
Yep.
Or it was all a dream.
Ooh.
Goku woke up. What a nightmare!
He's really just a kid back in Brooklyn.
Yeah. So stupid. Alright, so you're just gonna go with the writers on this one, say he's a legendary Super Saiyan. That's gonna be your answer for everything right now. I feel like we're in some serious like court battle,
He's
and
the
all you're gonna say
legendary
is
Super Saiyan.
that's so lame. I hate you.
But what
It
else
needs to
can
be
you
more to it.
define it? He is the
Well,
legendary
because he
Super
goes,
Saiyan.
but the legendary Super Saiyan goes Super Saiyan. So how does that work?
He did go Super Saiyan. His green
Yes,
hair.
he did. No, I said he did. He went Super Saiyan. So the legendary Super Saiyan eventually does go Super Saiyan. So it's like super legendary.
This look I'm giving Matt right now speaks volumes.
I'm just trying to understand your defense for this character.
Okay, I'm not a fan of Broly. Never have been. And
Okay.
I think he's a very one-dimensional character. I got a lot of power. Ugh, I hate Goku. So
Well, in this one, he doesn't hate Goku. Though.
I hate Saiyans. I hate everybody. I'm just being
I think
forced
it's more
to
about
fight.
I lose control. I lose control. I lose control. That's
Okay.
how I look at it.
So the characters are very two-dimensional. This character is
Yeah.
just in the universe to push Goku to its limits, and they wanted Saiyans to be top-notch. Blah, blah,
Right.
blah. I'm sure we're going to see some kind of tiff between Beerus and Broly eventually.
No, I think so. Interesting.
Because the whole point of the whole Dragon Ball Super started with Beerus waking up saying, I want to fight a Super Saiyan God. What's more
Good
of a
point.
Super Saiyan God than the legendary Super Saiyan Broly, who constantly gets stronger?
So you're saying this Broly character might surpass Goku and Vegeta?
I
in
think
the
if
story arc?
they're really bringing Broly into this universe of the real storyline and not just making him fodder on the side for these movies like they've been doing,
Right.
I think we could see a potential character development of Broly becoming the next God of Destruction.
Okay, I can see that. That's actually a good point. I can see that.
Or it's
and,
going to be Vegeta. I don't know.
they're never going to give Vegeta his due.
Never.
not in the sense that we want it.
Gohan's coming back with a vengeance.
You think so? You hope so. All right. So going with that, at the end of the movie, they obviously ended on a happy note. I actually, I will say this: I appreciated this version of Broly a lot more than the 3 movies prior to.
Yeah.
This one actually seemed like a character that I could grow to like.
Maybe.
Because he wasn't. I feel like the other Brolys were just more robotic. They weren't emotional, and that sounds kind of weird because they kind of lose their emotions and become just pure rage and go crazy.
Well,
But what I mean is they were just kind of like destroy,
Well, do you
destroy.
remember-
There was no personality.
do you
know
remember
what I mean?
the first Broly movie and Vegeta meets Broly and finds out he's a legendary Super Saiyan and loses all fighting spirit?
Yeah.
He didn't do it in this.
No, of course not.
And I mean, he was
No, in
reluctant
fact-
to fuse, but
And he never. Goku interrupts his fight, but he was never in trouble.
no.
Vegeta was never in trouble in this one. Goku was the one that got his butt whooped. And that's the other thing. Remind me of this. Blue is the final stage as of right now, right? When they turn blue, that's the final stage. Okay, I can remember because Goku didn't do that for a long time when he was getting creamed
He was
and needed help
red
from
hair.
Piccolo. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Um,
there's things I was pretty sure they weren't going to do in this movie, so you're good to watch. You need to finish the fucking series.
I know.
It
All right.
ends
Well,
the last fight of the series of the TOP set arc is amazing. Just that last battle, it is worth everything. I can still watch it. I can still watch it now. It's the last like 10 minutes of the battle, and it's just everything. Like it's just everything.
Okay,
It
I
was
believe you.
so
I believe
good.
you.
Like you get chills. Just watch. I'm gonna watch it after this. I want to watch it just because I hate you and I want to watch it. You know.
That's fine. That's fair enough. All right. So let's. I'm sure there's a lot more plot stuff that I wanted to talk about, but I gotta tell you, I'm gonna move on for a little bit. This movie, I know it's like compared to most features that are out there in the world, not many. It would be low on a lot of people's radar. You know what I mean? There's a huge fan base for anime, and people in that are gonna watch it. But when I'm talking worldwide, grandmas and people like that aren't gonna go see it. But I have to tell you, this movie was done really, really well, and as I'm watching the movies that they do, the show's good
all
too.
the movie, all it was them fighting.
Oh no! I see. If you're gonna knock it, I'm gonna disagree with you on so many levels. But you're right. It was all fighting for sure, but not the first about 15-20 minutes wasn't. It was some back filler and some cool creative sides of the stories we've never really saw before, which I appreciated.
Okay.
But what I wanted to talk about is the fighting, but it's not the movie story. It's not. It's the animation, like what they did.
Such good animation.
And how they did it was amazing. Like, talk about amazing eye candy. And as I'm watching it, I kept saying to myself, it's funny because when you take communication classes in college and you're learning about things and getting people's attention and stuff, one thing I thought was very interesting is in the classes that you take, sometimes they'll tell you, like, you have to be careful of your market because people, as you get older, they can't follow things as fast. You know what I mean? Like, they miss the images literally because their minds cannot keep up with it. And I remember watching this movie, and this happened in Spider-Verse too. Like, it wasn't like I couldn't keep up with it, but it was an amazing sensory overload that it was impossible to appreciate everything in those shots as fast as they were doing them. Does that make any sense at all? Like the artwork, the style, the camera angles, the camera following. Like, you have to. This is one of those movies you'd have to like watch a couple of times to truly appreciate all the things that they did in it. And some of it was so well done and so fast that if you weren't really focusing on it, you didn't even realize what you were watching until it was over. Does that make any sense? Like, it was that intense.
You tell me I gotta watch this again?
I'm just saying the way they quote unquote made the fluid motion of the scenes, how they jumped from one character to another, how they used all the elements in the scenery and the quote unquote camera angles that they chose to do, and the panning shots, so to speak, and all these things, like the fluid movement of the film and the color choices and the emotional close-ups, like it was insane. Like, I was watching it, it was amazing. And I know you'd get a kick out of this, but a lot of the style too, and it must be a new form of anime style, but My Hero Academia, the style in which that guy like comes powerful and everything. I forget the hero's name, but the one that he's passing on the powers. Just humor me and just follow me with this. The artwork, the way that extreme artwork, it's no longer the veins and the beady eyes and the crazy smiles. It's now like this rush of fluid, like streak marks of animation, and like jagged edges and lines, but distortion. It's a new style that they're doing, and it's actually really freaking cool. It's so extreme, and it adds an element to fight scenes that are just you don't see anymore. I was blown away at the art. Artistically, I haven't seen anything that well done since like Transformers from the 80s movie, where like if you were to pause that movie and realize like when Unicron's destroying that whole planet, like every single thing in that one frame was hand drawn, and like you're talking 24, 27 frames per second based on whatever it is that they're working on, hand drawn, that much detail. Like to me, it's been a long time since I've seen a film that had something like that, especially in the animated world. And I just thought it was freaking breathtaking. I thought it was so well done. And the music is always good too, because back in the day, they would try to get us interested in it with, they'd put Disturbed in the back of the soundtrack, or they would try to put some modern music in to get the fight music going. But now they're actually creating these beautiful scores for Dragon Ball Super.
They did. It's not
and
just crappy rap music. They're putting in the English version.
No, and they're pulling a card out of like they're actually using the characters' names in the score. The chorus is singing their names.
Hey,
yeah,
character's called All Might.
Okay, my God. So you were just fuming for 5 minutes about that the whole time. Is that you didn't hear a word I said? You were just like keep sitting there with the arms crossed. All Might.
All Might. All Might.
All Might. All Might. No weenie. Is that his middle name? All Might, no weenie. Don't. You're gonna cut this podcast short. Don't be a turd. You're so angry with me right now. I'm trying to.
You have no idea
show.
that I'm outside your house right now.
With the shotgun. Listen, I was trying to make a nice parallel to those two shows. That I think those two shows, Super and whatchamacallit, is what's the show called? All Might Show? Don't even.
My Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia. They have the very similar artistic style. I think it's a really nice change of pace. Do you not agree?
I thought it was great choices they made, and I think it's a nice change of pace of what they're going towards in Dragon Ball Super. But you haven't even, since you're still kind of watching, as you watch Dragon Ball Super, you see the transition slowly go into a new form of animation. It's not bad animation. I mean, you see it from the beginning of Dragon Ball. You start with Dragon Ball, and it shifted. As it got into Dragon Ball Z, it shifted more.
Yeah.
And as it got into End of Cell, beginning of Buu, it shifted again. And then when it did Kai, it kind of brought all that kind of style to all of it. They tried to a little bit. So when they did Super, they started off with that. And now as it evolves, it's evolving into more of a fluid motion of a show, which I think is great. And we're going to see more evolution of that. You'll see a lot of it near the end of Dragon Ball Super.
Sure.
At least to that story arc.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, just as it's ironic, the parallel of how the show is changing from, the characters evolve and become stronger. The show evolves and becomes stronger in how they show the fights. I mean, back in the day, it was Frieza. It was, here's a flash. And we're supposed to assume they're fighting.
Boom. I still like that because it kind of they still did that in Broly a little bit. They still added that a little bit. Because you got to show, you're watching the fight in like through their eyes a little bit as you can see it. Because remember they always say like, oh, it's so fast you can't watch it. You must feel it. You must feel it to see what they're fighting. But then when they reswap and they speed it up to the point where we can't see it, so that means it's like this is what it really looks like. This is what reality looks like. That's how fast they're fighting. The point. Right. But that's the beautiful thing about it. It's almost like a thank you to the audience, because now we are not left behind as much anymore, as if we have been training alongside them and are able to follow them more and more. Oh, look at you, little sensei!
There was even a moment where they went into, like, I called it the Rainbow Road in my head, where they just went into this like quantum realm where they were fighting so ridiculously, like the world around them just looked like like Ant-Man when they went into the multiverse, or whatever the hell it was.
We went 24 minutes without mentioning anything Disney Marvel related, and you went there.
I didn't intentionally do that. I'm just saying, like, that was the only thing I could think of at the time that described this place. I said Rainbow Road first.
I know, and I was okay with that.
Well, you know what else you know what else I did? Since you brought this up, I'm just gonna go there. You know what I saw at the beginning of this?
Nope.
I saw
Nope.
the
Nope.
Fox logo. So does that mean Dragon Ball's
Wait,
owned
you
by Disney?
serious?
Yeah, or at least with distributing.
Huh.
Yeah. So now I guess Disney's
No,
distributing
no, because
Dragon
that's
Ball
Funimation.
Super.
Funimation distributes.
Funimation, yeah, and Fox.
I'm gonna look that
Someone's
up
got to put it out.
as soon as we're here. We're done talking because I hate you.
All right, so there you go. They're taking everything. They're taking it all, man. It's
But that
happening.
means they can make a good movie.
No, that means they're gonna ruin a good movie.
What are you talking about?
That's what that means. They're gonna take something that's good, and they're gonna make sure that the next time we see it, that there's
We
a
hate
gay
ourselves.
Super Saiyan, and that the women will rise up, like you mentioned earlier. It's good to see women Saiyans, and then but it'll be all Saiyans. There'll be Gooket.
Wait, didn't you see the female Saiyans in Dragon Ball Super yet? When they did that small tournament?
I might be coming up to that point. I saw
There was
like,
no tournament. You didn't. You met
Vegeta's
Beerus's
Vegeta's
brother, right?
right?
No,
I met his brother.
Beerus's brother.
I'm not sure. It's been so long.
The other destruction of God.
The fat purple one.
Yeah.
I met him. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll have to see. But I have to say it's been a long time since I've watched an animated feature that visually artistically was so well done.
You'll like My Hero Academia's movie as well.
Yeah, I'm obviously
but you
behind
should
on that
watch
too.
the series until
I
there's
will.
a point in the series where it actually brings you to where it mentions about going away to a getaway, and then like the next episode is no getaway, like they mention it, but if you watch the movie in between that, it fills that in. It's kind of nice. It's kind of cool.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I stopped watching it right at the right time. It was kind of funny. My friend was like, "You jerk! I was waiting so long for this movie," and literally when I got to them, I'm like, "I'm done. Oh, the movie's out. Cool."
And you just watched
I
it.
just watched the movie and went back to
Yeah,
watch
of course.
it. Yeah.
It's really hard not for me. I want to watch it right now, and I'll wait. But that's it for now. Do you have any final thoughts or Dragon Ball
I'm
Broly?
excited to see what the future comes for Dragon Ball Super. I mean, it's always a show that's been evolving. I mean, this is a show I've grown up with, and it's still going. It's not like so.
And it's not getting worse. It's not like limping along. It's actually getting
Dragon
so
Ball
much better.
GT, it did get worse, but I'm talking
Wow.
like Dragon Ball, or like if you watched Marvel and everything like that, it was good. And you grew up with it, and you grew up with the comics, you grew up with the cartoons, you grew up with all that. But it was all different formats. You know what I mean? It was all different renditions of it. Different companies were playing with it. You know, we had Disney, we had Fox, we had Marvel itself.
Sony.
And Sony. You had all these people playing with it. But Dragon Ball has been true, and have been growing up with. Dragon Ball GT was a hiccup, but it's still been the same company producing it all this time, and it's been a progression.
Right.
So this is like an actual show that's actually grown up with me, and it's been really fun. You almost can compare that to Legend of Zelda. That game has been evolving with its fans as well.
Mm-hmm. But even the cinematic stuff that I was talking about earlier, like, was done in the slow scenes too. Just visually speaking, how they started the movie with the ships flying in, it's never been as in. You know what I mean? Like, what other animated movie have you watched where it has that grandiose, epic-y feel, almost like the equivalent to Star Wars or something like that? But it's just an animated.
You need to watch Full Metal Alchemist movie. You need to watch My Hero Academia movie.
Well, I've seen them.
They've been getting good. These movies are actually good to watch in theaters, and people. Oh, I can't go see it in theaters because so many nerds. I don't understand it. So I'll go see a really good movie, an anticipated movie, even a Marvel film, right? We'll go watch it. We're anticipating. I'm sure we're going to see Endgame. People will applaud when it starts. But that's where the applauding will stop. No one will speak usually during these movies. I used to complain like, oh, people talk during these movies the entire time. They actually don't. People actually get serious about them, and everyone shuts up and everyone watches it, right?
Right.
It's actually pretty amazing. But then when you go see an anime film in theaters, my last one was, I did see Broly in theaters, and it was really annoying. But My Hero Academia was super annoying. So every time a new character appeared, and I was with my friend, and she was like, why are people cheering? Every time a new character appeared on stage, even an hour into the film, a new person was introduced from the series, everyone cheered. It's like, they're not real people.
No, I think with the anime, because even though it's like...
so stupid.
I think it's just
Don't be
boils
that
down
person,
to,
Nick. Don't be that person.
well, I think it's more about the idea of they they're getting their due. Does that make sense? Like finally, movies that we want to see are coming to theaters.
Oh,
So
they've
like,
been doing that
yay.
forever. When I was at Comic-Con years and years ago, my brothers and I would go see like, let's go see that movie at the Comic-Con. You know, you would go see movies there, and they're free and they're playing. You know, and we go sit down and people start cheering, and it's like, why? STFU, let's watch the movie together. Stop. And then the most ridiculous, obnoxious laughing happens when the most stupidest thing happens. I'm like, that wasn't that funny. Why are we laughing?
Right.
You were laughing hysterically. Stop.
I know you just brought up something else. The one thing I was going to say that was story wise that I always appreciate about Dragon Ball is the fact that they do still do those elements of stupid humor. Like they've stayed true to their formula.
Oh, with the Frieza and his height.
Yes,
Do you think-
yes. The fact that he actually, because for 2 seconds I was worried that he was actually going to say something like, "I want to wish Goku and Vegeta's power levels to be dramatically decreased to when I was, first met them," or something like that.
So you kind of have to watch the rest of the series to understand Frieza's stance in life.
All right, fair
You
enough.
jerk face.
Well, he was respectful of Goku and whatever Vegeta's combination when he was going to shoot that ship. He probably knows he's just going to get his butt kicked all the time by them, so he just gives
You
up.
should also know that his teacher is Whis and Beerus, and he won't want to mess with that too. Think about that.
Ah, all right. That's creepy and weird.
Well, think about it. Like Goku and Vegeta are being trained by the person who watches over Beerus.
Right.
Beerus is one of their friends. I don't think Beerus would do anything. I don't know what he would do, but you wouldn't want to take that chance.
Right.
That was very nerdy of me to say that like that, but anyways.
Well, is that your final thought?
Yeah, that's my final thought.
All right. Well, thank you for listening to Entertainment Banter. My name is Matt.
You know, you always say Matt without putting your T at the end, and it just...
I said Matt.
Okay, there you did.
Maybe you had to clean out your ears.
Whatever. And my name is Joe.
All right, see you, Joe.
I'm done. Man, just play that next episode already.